Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of our TEDx Grand Canyon University preview event in plain sight. Last week, you heard from lovely speakers, Jessica and Mario, and tonight, we cannot wait to show you guys 2 more amazing speakers, 1 speaker and 1 performer, and frankly, we're going to jump right into it. Please give it up for our first speaker, Andy Maurer.
Howdy. How's
Good
it
to
going?
see you, Andy.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump right into it. It's TEDx Grand Canyon University. You went to ASU.
I did go to ASU.
Went to ASU.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh. Can you just give us a lopes up just for a...
I can't do that.
I respect it.
I can't do that.
respect it. I do respect that a lot. Andy, I just want to jump right into it, honestly. You work with leaders, and you just love to just be around people that are driven and inspired people. And I'm just going to give you the floor here, because that's what you love to do. Can you just talk on that as a young man that's just living their life, that's around leaders all the time?
Yeah, I specifically work with high-level leaders, CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, and influencers, and I specifically work with them around the issue of emotional wellness. And I should share a little bit about why that's important to me. It was this process in my life where I had key leaders walk through my pain with me in my story, and what I realized was a lot of my pain came from key leaders in my life. They actually didn't deal with their pain, so they used me, took advantage of me through their power. And what I now want to do is I want to work with leaders to help them heal their stories and face their pain, so they actually use their power to take care of and love rather than to take advantage of others.
When you say care with love, in today's world that we live in, that's a really relevant thing, is just loving on others. How do you do that in a society that is very much and the theme that we're doing is in plain sight, where it's very kind of mask on, mask off? Is it hard to connect with these leaders in today's world that we live in about, hey, I'm just being real and transparent. This isn't me being fake. This isn't me trying to get something from you. Because that's something that happened to you, where that's unfortunately what happened. Is it hard to connect at all with leaders when it's like, I'm just being real?
It's not too hard for me to connect with leaders because in some small way I understand what it's like for them. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm an emotional wellness coach. So when I work with people, I'm sitting across from them, and I can't necessarily process that I'm having a horrible day. I have to show up for them. And for a lot of leaders, that's the reality, is they have to show up for a lot of people, put their feelings and their experience on the back burner, and most people need something from them. And I connect with that, and it's easy for me to understand why then they have to put on this kind of persona and this shell to show everybody that they're okay, but behind that, actually, they're really struggling. And it's easy to connect with when I get past the power, when I get past the success, when I get past the money, and I just see them as a person who has a story, and who has a story of pain and also a story of really good things. But I want to provide a space where they can process that and kind of work through that.
Have you ever come across anything where it's just you find somebody that's had a similar upbringing to you, and kind of is it hard to connect, or should I say disconnect your own experiences where you can fully invest in the leader that you're currently working with at all?
Yeah, this really goes 2 ways. I mean, the research has shown that when we think about empathy, you would imagine that if I had a similar story to you, I'd actually be able to empathize with you more. But what research has actually shown is that if your story is too similar to mine, and I haven't dealt with my own story, I'm going to project all this stuff on you about what you should do or how you should be or how you should think. And I'm not actually just going to be able to sit with you and hear you. So with empathy, we really need to be able to know where we come from and kind of keep that in check as we sit with someone and hear their story.
As somebody who's been around it and been around leaders, been around, you said you're a therapist, does our society do a good enough job with the word empathy? Or do you think we sometimes use the word thinking we know what it means, but in reality we really don't know what it's like to empathize with other people?
I think we have a difficult time with empathy because we have a difficult time being empathic towards ourselves. I know for myself, one of my processes that I went through as I grew up and as I went through college and as a young adult was really learning how to be more compassionate to myself. And it's really difficult to be compassionate to another person if we can't be compassionate to ourselves. That's actually where it starts. So for me in my journey, I had to learn with those parts of myself that are most broken, most pain-filled, that I actually had to look at those with compassion and empathy. And that actually allows me to then sit with leaders a little bit better.
I want to talk about your college experience. You went to ASU, and I hate to admit it, it's a great university to go to. And we love...
Can you say that?
I don't know if I'm legally obligated to. But, they do great work over there at ASU. How is your time at college, it's two questions. Just being at ASU, but just as a college student, how did that transform you into your leadership style and the leader that you've become?
Oh my gosh. College was quite the experience for me. And I need to go back to high school because my senior year of high school, I'm pretty sure I had 23 absences my senior year. Now, when I went into college, I went to community college, I pretty much dropped out of my first 3 classes because I didn't know you could miss a midterm and not pass a class. I didn't learn those skills. So as I went through college, I really had to sit with this idea of, man, I'm failing at this process, and I feel like a failure. And I had a really good friend walk alongside me, and I told him, I said, I don't think I can progress. I have a passion and a desire to want to do something, but I don't know if I can go get my graduate degree. I could never do that. And he looked at me and he said, why not? He looked at me and he said, you have the capacity to be great at something and to put yourself into something and actually be successful. And after that process where I actually started to believe that I could do this and that I had something that I was really passionate about, I went back to ASU. I went to ASU, almost got a 4.0. Then I did 2 masters at the same time and almost had a 4.0 in both. But not because I worked so hard, which is true, but because I actually believed through my friends' help that I was worth it and that I had something to offer. That's what needed to change for me. So college really helped me face failure and kind of move through and learn grit. And actually that's really important for me as an entrepreneur, is I have to learn grit because some days are great and some days are horrible, and I have to learn to keep going. And college taught me that when you fail, you need to learn and you need to keep pushing forward.
That's a lot of good stuff. As I graduate in April, I ain't getting no 4.0. But Andy, I want to finish on this. You seem to have such a good balance of recognizing the mistakes you've made and then not letting that eat you alive. And I think, especially for myself, I'm 21 years old, about to graduate. A lot of people in my shoes that have failed, instead of realizing the mistakes and growing, they get eaten alive inside. What would you say to yourself, your college self? And at the same time, you're speaking to current college students. What would you say to yourself and people in my shoes that you think is just, that you wish you would have known when you graduated and you were in that time?
As I look at that boy, and I say boy because I don't think he was a man, I look at him as a boy because he was working so hard, and now often, honestly, I still work really hard sometimes to prove that I'm valuable or that I have worth based on my performance. And I wish that boy back then, he would have just known that he could be loved, known, and wanted, even if he didn't perform, that he would have people that would stick around. And I got a lot done because I was performing for my worth, but the inside of me died away. And I think if I would have known that I could be loved and valuable, regardless of how I perform, I could pursue hard things from my worth rather than trying to pursue hard things to prove my worth.
Wow. Well, Andy, we can not wait to hear from the man that Andy Maurer has become at the TEDxGCU University main event. Andy, thanks for being here. And
thank you.
Can't wait to hear your full talk, February 21st. We'll be right back to the TEDxGCU University preview event. That was awesome. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of our TEDx Grand Canyon University preview event in plain sight. I am very excited for our next speaker. She's going to be performing live February 21st, but right now she's just here to show me what it's like to be a performer. Please give it up for 11-year-old Tia Penny. Hello. Good to see you. Take a seat. Oh. You are my youngest person I've ever interviewed. Fun fact. Tia, you're 11 years old, about to be
Yes.
12. When do you turn 12?
I turned 12 on January 31st.
Oh, well, happy early birthday. Or if you're watching this after, late. If you're watching after, she's turned 12 now. So mature now, 12 years old. You're in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Tia, how does it feel to be a 6th grader and to be doing things like this?
Feels kind of weird.
When you say weird, what does it? Is it cool? Is it different?
It's cool, but it's hard to balance.
I love it. It's about well, you're so ahead of your age when it comes to that. Tia, we were talking beforehand with your dad, and you said, and I respect you for this because my favorite subject was physical education when I was in 6th grade. You said you like math and science.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about math and science?
I like knowing the facts. I like knowing things that, like, I know are true.
Yeah, I love it. You're also in robotics. Is that a club? Is that a class you do?
It's an after-school program that I go to,
Fun. Awesome.
and we basically had a problem and solution. So our solution for my robotics team was a net zero apartment gym complex. So it's kind of a tongue twister.
Yeah, unless it's Legos, I can't build it.
No, it's basically an apartment complex, and it has a gym, and the things in the gym actually power the electricity, making it net zero.
She's 12 years old, or 11. Wow. Tia, you're an inspiration. Tia, I want to hop into this. You are such a talented person for your age. Just a talented individual, regardless of the age of 11, soon to be 12. But I want to ask you, Tia, is there a certain thing that just, outside of just performing, that you just love to do? I know we talked about robotics. You have a dog that you get to sing with. And
Yeah.
How's that?
I love robotics. I love my family and my pets. And I also love like doing crafts and making little inventions out of cardboard.
I love it. Your mom and dad were talking before, and you don't know this, but they kind of mentioned your dog, and you have a very special relationship. Where when
Yes.
you sing, he kind of tilts his head back. Is that fun?
That is so fun.
What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Tuxie.
Tuxie. What's the breed?
Well, she's a Maltese and a poodle, so she's a Maltipoo.
Wow, Maltipoo. I have a Cocker Spaniel mixed with a Golden Retriever. His
Oh.
name's Tuffy. He cannot sing, but he's very cute. I promise you that. Tia, we were also talking beforehand, and I was very inspired by this because I love classical music. And you were talking about you got your start in a ukulele when about 4 years ago for Christmas, your parents
Yes.
got you a ukulele, and then you just started playing. And is there any artist that you just love to just perform on the daily basis?
Well, I mean, I don't really have any specific artist. I play a variety of music. I kind of listen to all that music. I love all music.
Is there any certain type of thing outside of music and robotics that, not take away Tia the performer, but Tia just being an 11-year-old, soon-to-be 12-year-old young girl that you just love to do? Do you love watching movies? What kind of movies do you love to watch?
I love comedy movies.
Any certain comedy movie that you love?
Oh, all of the above. I don't know.
That's funny. I love it. Your dad mentioned, and I find this very fascinating, that you love making slime. Can you walk
Yes.
us through that process?
Well, you take some glue, and then
Glue.
step one, and you put it in a bowl, and then you add some activator, and you mix it up, and then it's slime. It's like a little science experiment.
Ooh, what do you do with it once it's done?
Play with it, you store it, and then, yeah.
I love it. We were talking beforehand, and you kind of were talking about what you get to do. You're on Channel 7 News this morning, the Daily Mix. You were also performing for the Phoenix Symphony in an opera. You sing opera, too. Now, do you understand the words you're singing?
Well, not really, not
That's okay.
necessarily, but it is in Italian. So, and we're talking really fast. So we kind of, on the first lesson, we kind of just took time getting used to the vowels and everything. But we looked over what it means, but I haven't really understood the exact language yet.
I don't blame you. It's Italian. It's funny because as we were talking beforehand, your dad was mentioning how TEDx Grand Canyon University found you, and it was because you were playing on First Friday.
Yeah.
Is there a memory of yours that, now you haven't lived a long life, but you've lived a very good life so far, that a performance you just remember that you're like, I'm going to remember that when I'm 60 years old, which seems forever ago, or forever in time. But is there a performance you've done where you're like, that was really fun?
Well, I really like sometimes even just small venues and like coffee shops and things like that.
Do you play the guitar? Do you play any other instruments, or do you want to learn a new instrument anytime soon?
Well, like you said, 4 years ago, I got a ukulele on Christmas, and then a year after that, I got a guitar. And then now I have a classical guitar, which I learn at school, and I also learn piano at school and choir at school. And I also take lessons on the side for electric guitar.
Which one's your favorite? If you had to pick.
I like acoustic guitar.
Why is that?
I like the sound of it, and I just kind of like the feel of it, like kind of laid back and.
I love it. Well, you play all those different instruments, but you also write your own original songs.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a song or take us through what's it like to write original songs as a soon-to-be 12-year-old?
Well, I think it's different for every person. I usually come up with a fun tune and then add words to that, and I usually write inspiring music. I know people that actually start with the words and then add the music to that. So I think it kind of varies with the person.
Well, Tia, we're going to see you perform in the main event on February 21st. In 3 words. You know what? No, I don't care how many words. Just describe what we should expect from Tia Penny at TEDx Grand Canyon University main event.
A hopefully great performance.
Hopefully great. That was 3 words. Wow. Bravo. Well, Tia, one last question. I know we're hitting on it. You're about to turn 12, but you're doing things that people, adults, I know, really old people, that they don't do and that they can't do. Is there anything you would tell just people in general of if they have a passion or a talent, something that what should they do?
Well, I really love this quote. I don't actually know where it's from, but it's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So I would say just keep working hard.
Well, Tia, you're an inspiration to me, and I guarantee you're going to be inspiration to all the people at the main event, February 21st. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for episode 2 of our TEDx Grand Canyon University preview event in plain sight. Tia Penny, cannot wait to see you perform. Please get your tickets on TEDxGrandCanyonUniversity.org. We'll see you in episode 3 next week.